He's still here.
It's okay.
They brought up Finn Balor too. He's on Raw.
That's nice.
All I know is
that's probably the biggest name to
Did
get
you guys
drafted.
hear about the lawsuit that's going on?
The concussion lawsuit?
Yeah. 30 wrestlers.
Have you listened to Coach's view on it on ESPN? It's really good because he's defending Vince about it, and he said like this thing's completely ridiculous.
What?
Yeah, he said like why are these wrestlers suing WWE for concussion lawsuit?
Well, they always try to say that.
Here's my problem with it.
That. Hang on, I'll let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like the same thing with the NFL. Like, you sign up for a sport knowingly that you bash heads for a living. And with wrestling, even though it's choreographed, it's still, you take bumps, and they're legitimate bumps to the head, to the neck, to the back, And they'll try to make it seem like whatever contract they signed to get in WWE, that all the risks were outlined, and it's a tough situation, but most people are desperate for money and they don't really lawyer up or really read into their contracts that they sign. So when stuff like this happens and they ask where's my health insurance, there is a inconsistency in both parties.
Sure. You have to understand. I can't say for WWE any of that because I'm not a part of the company. But all I can say is that you are an independent contractor when you are a wrestler. That's one of the biggest things there. You are an independent contractor, so technically they don't have to give you certain benefits.
Exactly.
So it's ultimately it's up to decide your contract about what you're going to do next, and figuring out the fine print and reading it and making sure this is what you're going to get into. And that's with any sport, any entertainment physical contact, whatever.
You're paid for.
Exactly. So
I was gonna say it's the same thing. Like you mentioned the NFL. I was gonna say that nobody tells you to go. Like if you're hurt, you see some players that they say like, "Oh, I know I was hurt, but I still went back out there and played injured."
Right.
Like if you're injured, you shouldn't be going out there playing.
Yeah, we glorify that kind of behavior. Like we always say, you're so tough. Good on you, but in reality, you're just damaging their bodies further. Some of these guys, they went to college on a full ride and, got BS kinds of majors, and if, God forbid, they got injured in the pros, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's a tough call. It's a very tough call, and a lot of these athletes, and this is not just talking about WWE now, just in general, they don't necessarily, they've been doing this their entire life. Right, they've been doing football, they've been doing soccer, they've been doing basketball, whatever. They don't have a secondary job or backup when, God forbid, things like that happen.
Not everyone is a Michael Jordan.
Sure.
Plus, what Coach said was true, and that I don't think I've heard one wrestler say that Vince doesn't pay for their injuries or surgeries.
No.
I don't think I've heard one wrestler deny that Vince doesn't do that. Because Vince straight up, if you're injured, he will pay for everything. You don't have to worry about it.
And he'll make it part of the show.
It's pretty long.
Plus, I think even with the contracts they sign, it's like if your merchandise is still selling 10 years from now, you're still gonna make a lot of royalty from it.
Yeah, I don't necessarily say about injuries per se. I don't know, but I know for people that are going through rehab, is that even as long as you were a part of the WWE family and you signed with them, they'll help with you. Like most notably, Scott Hall, Jake Snake Roberts. To WWE's credit, they paid for their rehab programs.
Yeah, Coach mentioned that too. Coach mentioned that where he said there were people that have gone to rehab 2-3 times, and WWE is like, take as much time as you need. If you gotta be there for 6 months, do it. We'll pay for it all.
Right.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Not a lot of jobs do that actually. If you get sick, you
most
probably won't have a job.
Most jobs will be like, wait, you use drugs? You're fired.
Yeah.
Unless if it's TNA, they'll hire you on the spot.
Brother Nero. We're saving the final deletion for another time. That's gonna happen though. That's amazing though. I'm just gonna let that just start off like that. Welcome to the Wrestling is Wrestling podcast. What a serious topic to start off with.
You
I'm your host, Stephen Rafferty. I'm alongside my co-host for today, Big Mike, Mark, and Nadim. And today, just like we were just talking about the concussion lawsuit and pro sports and athletes and everything, today's episode is an open discussion. It's just whatever topics we want to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. And the reason why we did that is because, well, I might as well get the news right out of the way. It's kind of bad news, or rough news, is that this is the last episode for one of our crew members, aka Mark. It's Mark's last episode because in his professional career in real life, he got an amazing opportunity, but with that he has to go leave out of the state. So what that means is that he won't be able to have the time to go and film. So for now, this is his kind of his hurrah.
I'll be a correspondent.
There you go. That's a good way to put it there. So, but yeah, just for today, it's kind of a lighthearted kind of episode, just whatever we want to talk about for the next, 30 minutes, and we'll go from there. Just before we start officially, for the next set of episodes, we're planning to do the simulations. Mike, he did our simulations for the brand split episode, and we're going to get that out sometime.
There were some interesting results to those simulation matches, which I will not comment on, but it was interesting to watch computers play for an hour and a half. Watching this, so it's boring but interesting to see who's gonna win and lose.
Oh boy! Oh, we'll make it.
And how screwed up WWE's overall rating system is, or 2K Games rating system. It's kind of bullcrap, to say the least.
Go figure. Oh my god. Well, we're gonna have that out very soon, and then we're also, just like Nadim mentioned earlier with Brother Nero, we are gonna watch the final deletion. That's going to happen. We're gonna do a Let's Watch of that, and that's going to be epic because it's the greatest thing happening in professional wrestling. You can see the sarcasm in my face. But it's amazing though.
Makes TNA somewhat relevant.
Yeah, that's for a whole other conversation because it's intense, but whatever. But we're going to do final deletion, we're going to do simulation soon, and then after that we're going to do the first episode of our story arc with ECW One Night Stand 2006. But with that, let's just open the table. What do you guys want to talk about?
Oh, man.
Let's discuss the draft.
What was the thing with people? I was pretty much happy with the draft for the most part, though.
I thought the show was excellent. Like, we were all messaging that night, going back and forth, talking about who was drafted and what our reaction was to it.
I'm sorry, guys. We had 35 messages going on throughout the chat. I'm so sorry about that.
I thought it was interesting. So, like, they broke up the club.
Yep.
So AJ's going to SmackDown. And Carl Anderson and I want to say Doc Gallows because it's ingrained in my mind to call him Doc Gallows. But Luke Gallows is going to Raw. So the club is broken up. But interestingly, Finn Balor was drafted to Raw. So maybe Balor Club is showing up and arriving on Raw, which would be very interesting.
Yeah.
So basically it was a complete trade.
Yep.
Throw names in a hat and pull them out, basically.
It was more like, oh, okay, so we have here on the list, we'll pick, let's say, Brock Lesnar, or we'll pick John Cena who went to SmackDown. So they got to pick who they wanted for the shows. And it's nice to see. Maybe they're trying to build up SmackDown because they put John Cena and AJ Styles on there. And they put, which show got the older people? Like Big Show and Mark Henry, where'd they go? Raw, I think?
Raw. Big Show went to Raw. Mark Henry went to Raw, which, by the way, we're not going to have time to do it today, but we have to update the list of the Big Show face and heel turns because apparently he turned, within the past 2 years, he's turned like another 4 times.
What the
Seriously, yeah. I was looking at Reddit. I was like, oh, man, it's updated, man.
That's funny.
Yeah. But, yeah, Big Show and Henry went to Raw and all that. And
what was the current number? Do you remember?
Oh, when we did it from the video?
Yeah.
26?
It was like 26 or 27. Jeez. You guessed it right, though, in the video.
I was watching SmackDown Raw from like 99 towards the end when SmackDown first got introduced. Yeah. And you see Big Show turn like heel to face like 2 times. just in like a 2-3 month period. And that's when he first started.
Oh my god, yeah.
He was like, his first gimmick was like the son of Andre the Giant or something like that, right?
And WCW.
That was funny.
That was when he was doing the monster truck sumo match, and the Yeti came out, and he faced Hulk Hogan, or Joe Rogan, we say, and he beat them for the World Heavyweight Championship in his second match ever. And then they had the Dungeon of Doom, man, and they had like the 5-story cage. That's just WCW, man.
That was fun.
I don't know if the company's saying that now because they lost so much money in '95. I mean, if we go over WCW's track record of all the ridiculous gimmick matches they did, from monster truck sumo match to Viagra on a pole match to scaffold matches to what else is there?
The judge on the bench.
Oh yeah, there was no, not a judge. It was Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Yeah,
there we go.
What
For the tag team championship, even though it was a one-on-one match between Buff Bagwell and I forget the other guy, but that's a real thing.
Has anyone in this table ever gone to SuperCon this year, or you have? You did. Did you see Mankind there?
He was there. I want to say Sunday.
Mick Foley, that's right.
Yeah, he was there Sunday. I think he was. I'm not sure if he was supposed to be there Saturday, but he didn't. I'm not sure if he went or not. But I know Sunday for sure he was there. I think Greg Valentine was there. I'm not 100% sure.
Greg the Hammer.
Yeah, no. Last year they had Paige, Daniel Bryan. I got to meet JBL and Farouk, which is just awesome. He was really nice, but like when I say he's tall, like you meet him and you're like, oh my gosh, he's big, like he's muscled out and tall.
Oh really? Wow.
Mickey James was also here for SuperCon too.
I didn't see her. I didn't even see her table when I was walking by. I know I saw Mick Foley's. I think Jerry Lawler was supposed to be there, but he had this situation that went on with his life, so he did not show up. But his, I guess his business partner was there for his comic. So I'm like, but there's no Jerry Lawler's.
At least he didn't make any shirts though.
He was one. Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Jerry Lawler's one of the nicest guys. Like to meet there, and he did a panel. It was very nice.
That's good. Well, with Lawler's situation, I don't want to bring that up, but Lawler's situation, at least it got.
And now he's not on the show either.
That's true. He's on the pre-show
now
panel.
He went from Raw to pre-show. He just got like dumped 3 levels.
No, he was on SmackDown because.
Oh yeah, on SmackDown. Sorry.
Because he was really bad on Raw with Cole and JBL recently, up until they put him on SmackDown, and then he just hit rock bottom with SmackDown. Like he could not work with Manuel.
He did better in SmackDown than he did in Raw, though.
He went like. After his whole heart problem, he had a heart attack, or he went to cardiac arrest, and then after that, he just kind of like had the whatever. I'm just here to make the paycheck thing, and then what happened with his fiance, WWE is just like, yeah, we need to kind of get him off.
Well, that's why they put in Otunga.
For that,
I don't know how that's gonna. I mean, maybe Otunga will do fine. I don't know. We have to see.
Is it
David Otunga?
Is it Otunga, JBL, and Morrow now for SmackDown?
I believe so.
So I know Corey Graves is replacing JBL.
No, I think Saxton is.
Saxton's still in Raw, but now instead of JBL in Raw, it's Corey Graves for the announced team. You can fact check that and make sure, but I remember they did an announcement on it. Which, by the way, they didn't. This is going way off topic now. They did the new logos for the company too.
I hate those.
I love it.
I haven't seen them yet.
If you can pull it up there.
If you can show them on screen.
We'll see, because I don't know when I'm going to release this and how lazy I'm going to be with my editing. Okay, guys.
Okay,
it might be really lazy.
JBL and Otunga.
Okay.
And then Corey Graves, Saxton, and Michael Cole on Raw.
All right.
For Raw, yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like Corey Graves.
I do too.
But maybe that's because he knows what the hell he's talking about, and he doesn't sound stupid like Michael Cole.
Too?
Mm-hmm.
Or just
for both. You should check it if you check it out there.
I don't like the Raw logo. I think it looks.
What?
The SmackDown logo looks fine to me. It's like okay, but the Raw is just
ugly.
Yep.
It's a little too flat, and the letters are a little too close.
It looks like an M upside down, not even a W.
Well, M for Mick Foley.
The problem, like SmackDown's just because it's stretched down. It has like that edgy like cut style lettering. It looks fine to me. Yeah. But then you see Raw, and you're like, it looks a little like at first it has a flat design, and it looks a little old, and I just don't like it.
The Raw logo reminds me of like Raw from like '96 with when they had the big.
Yeah,
letters.
it reminds me of like the early '90s, mid '90s Raw, not the late '90s Raw's War.
Yeah, my favorite logo was probably the Raw's Lord. The Raw's Lord War. Jeez,
Botch.
I don't want to edit the botch counts. I'm so lazy with this right now. But
look,
it has a history.
Look, they show them all. I actually like the early mid 2000s Raw.
That's nice too.
This one and this one, those two were good.
But see what I mean? That one reminds me of the new logo they just did.
I see the Monday Night Raw one from like mid and late '90s. I love that one too.
This SmackDown one when they had the 10th anniversary is their best.
I love that.
Nice, yeah.
Okay, I started watching the original like SmackDown episodes like chronologically on the network. I just love the way the stage was set up back then. And then I saw the one where they had the fist coming out.
Oh, yeah.
That has to be one of my favorite
The
sets.
first one, that
Yeah.
I love that set. That would have to be one of the best sets they've ever had.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the heyday of SmackDown.
Oh man, that was the good old days. I wonder if they're gonna do new sets for this. I doubt it because they're probably saving money.
No,
but...
the only reason why is because it's all interchangeable. And then
Yeah.
what they do is they leave like a group of sets overseas.
Hmm.
So if they were to go to England in like 6 months, the sets are essentially the same, but they stay in some warehouse overseas.
Interesting.
So that's why they don't change the sets.
When you say like warehouse overseas, I think of like the Dungeon of Doom. It's like an
They go
underground
down and you
base.
see like a guy with like a mace come up. He's like, "What do you want?"
Oh my god, we've mentioned too much about the Dungeon of Doom today. We mentioned it twice in two different ways. Oh man. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this year for the draft. It could be great or it can be, I don't know.
I mean, what do you think is the biggest mistake that they made with the Raw roster?
I don't have a mistake, but the greatest thing they did was having Bo Dallas on Raw. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, Mr. Bo Leave over here.
That's right. You're always welcome to the podcast, Bo Dallas. Always.
Part of me wanted them to announce Bailey going to either show, but I think she's gonna come out on Battleground, or she's gonna be with Sasha.
Maybe.
And I feel like it's her time to come up. And then they brought up Becky went to SmackDown.
Okay.
Alexa Bliss went to SmackDown, I believe. And Nia Jax went to Raw. Finn Balor went to Raw. So you have 4 NXT products.
No.
Oh, and American Alpha came up also.
Yeah, and there's one more. Because there was 6.
Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, Mojo Rawley also came up. Maybe we see a reunion of the Hype Bros.
I just want to see more for JoJo.
So you have quite a bit of NXT stars coming up to the main roster, which I think they said they were going to do a draft every year. I'm not sure. But maybe if they do the draft every year, that's a way to get NXT talent up in the middle between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Or Survivor Series or something, so that's cool.
There you go. Mark, if we were still doing wrestling, we could do Tough Enough and try to get on NXT.
But here's the thing. You
I
guys
always find those shows like kind of rigged.
Well, reality shows.
You know?
Well, reality shows
Yeah,
is never
most of
reality. There's always some element of scriptedness.
Like when they did Tough Enough, I forgot that guy's name, but he ended up becoming a huge fan favorite. And then WWE
Maven.
No,
Yeah.
it was the most recent Tough Enough.
Was it the guy, like the tall dude? Or was
Yeah,
it...
that he ended up becoming like a fan favorite, and then he gets eliminated, and Twitter went crazy because they wanted him there, and then WWE ends up signing him. Like they had no intention to sign him, and they're like, "Well, I mean, the fans like him, so let's give him a shot."
That's the thing. Like if we were still doing it and we made it like 5th place,
So,
whatever, but
I
they liked us, we could have got a contract.
I understand why you say I don't like it because it's scripted, but you always have that little bit of, "Oh crap, this wasn't supposed to happen,"
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you get the shot. So
Here's
But that's
a huge
rare.
mistake that they made with the Raw roster, at least me philosophically speaking. Why would you put Brock Lesnar on Raw when you could put him on SmackDown? And you're trying to make SmackDown more viable, making it live. Having him with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman can dab with behind the scenes creatively and also be a manager on screen.
one issue that I was reading about maybe yesterday, Paul Heyman's contract expired July 19th, so he's no longer working with WWE.
Oh,
And he doesn't have a deal in place yet. So as of right now, it's just Brock Lesnar, it's just Brock Lesnar and no Barack Lesnar.
Oh my!
So
well, we gotta be careful though, because what does the WWE do after hearing he failed not 1 but 2 tests?
he's not okay. He's not allowed to probably fight for UFC for a year, 2 years. Depends on what USADA rules on.
Okay.
But because WWE is not considered a sport like UFC, even if he gets suspended, he's still going to be allowed to fight.
Yeah.
And what he got caught with was not an HGH or a steroid; it was an estrogen blocker. Was it?
Yeah, that's right. The same thing that John Jones used
So
for his fight.
So it's essentially like it was after you use steroids, it's to like pump up the estrogen, so it's not so much like findable in a test, but so your body can recover quicker and build muscle quicker. And because testosterone really messes up your health in an insane way, which is why like an estrogen actually protects your body also. So, and it's also just to help your body recover. Because once
you said it was an estrogen blocker, correct?
I don't know if it was I want to say estrogen.
So it wouldn't produce estrogen. So
I think
your body up.
I think what happens is when you take the testosterone or HGH, your body immediately wants to produce more estrogen, and in that time, your body can't produce as much testosterone as it would normally. So by blocking the estrogen, your body can just keep pumping out testosterone.
Go figure, man.
Cheater.
And then one way these tests find out if you are using steroids is because you're gonna have a lot of estrogen in your system. And so by blocking it, they're like, "Oh, he's clean. You know, he's not showing up like in a stupid way." So
not clean enough if he got caught twice. I'll say that thing.
Well, the general rule of thumb, at least with UFC testing, is if you fail the first one, you're more likely than not gonna fail the second one.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with John Bones Jones, because Jones thought, my first test is not viable. Let's do the second one, and he failed close to UFC 200.
Well, I think what they tested with Jones was the B sample, because you piss in 2 cups, and just in case something happened with the first one, it got contaminated. It was at the second one. I think the Brock Lesnar failed both tests, the one that was like a couple weeks before, and the one that was like a couple days before. So whereas John Jones just failed the one that was I think a couple weeks before.
Was that relevant in WWE? I mean, we
was
all
relevant
know
to Brock Lesnar.
You know,
Yeah.
we all know what goes on there.
And then you have Roman Reigns getting busted for using Adderall.
But it's the same thing that Adam Rose got busted for too.
But I think the issue with WWE is we want our doctors to prescribe it, not your doctors. So,
sure. Speaking of, he just came back last night, and now he has a beard now. He has a ridiculously big beard.
Well, I shaved mine, and I was like, "Here, Roman, take it. Take mine. Don't worry."
Yeah.
But do you guys think there's a huge mistake by letting Roman Reigns stay in the triple threat match? I guess to protect the whole idea of former Shield brothers facing each other for the title?
I think the thing is, I think if it's just Adderall, I think the suspension was fair enough. It wasn't like a major drug or like a narcotic or anything like that. I think that's fair, that's justifiable. If it was like heroin or crack cocaine or something.
I was going to say, you're misjudging Adderall then in that case, because Adderall can do some pretty serious stuff to you. Like I've heard stories of people who won't sleep for 3 days straight just because they take Adderall and it keeps them awake. That's insane. That's something that's like can be more dangerous than cocaine or heroin or meth or marijuana or whatever you want to talk about.
Marijuana shouldn't be in that conversation anyways.
That's another topic for another discussion.
No one has ever overdosed on marijuana. It's impossible.
That's another topic for another discussion.
Our opinions do not express the Wrestling is Wrestling podcast here.
But we have to remember the rules are what they are for now until they are changed. Yeah. We have to abide by what those rules are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I think Lesnar still wrestles at SummerSlam just because WWE will say, well, you screwed up in UFC's terms, but it wasn't a steroid. You weren't caught with cocaine. It was an estrogen blocker that, in reality, I could go to like Vitamin Shop or GNC and buy something similar to what Lesnar and Jones were using. So I think WWE will just like, don't do it again, like slap on the wrist, and if you do it again, then you'll be in serious trouble with us.
I think we have a huge problem though with the way PEDs are being looked at, because if you look at it across different sports, Maria Sharapova has been suspended for almost 2 or 3 years in tennis.
Yeah. And
she's taken something that was recently added to the list, which is called melodium or something like that for health issues.
Yeah, it's something to regulate your heartbeat.
Yeah, and I feel like they need to ease people into it, not just, add things to a list and then just come down on people.
With how it relates to wrestling, I think the only way I can see, maybe you should lighten up on some of this drug, not like Adderall or something, but maybe, if you want to light up and, smoke weed or whatever, or you want to relax, it's just because they're on the road 5-6 days a week, and they might have a day off, and it's just a constant grind to keep going, and some of these guys just get burnt out.
Yeah.
And with this new draft and having Raw and SmackDown, these guys are going to be working 4 days a week, maybe 5 at most. If you're like Charlotte or the WWE heavyweight champion, where you have to maybe show up on both shows. But other than that, they're working maybe a couple days less. That might be better for their sanity and their health.
Yeah, just being on the road, just a schedule,
Yeah.
I got it right here. We'll have a stoner gimmick. That's what we're going to do. And we'll get sponsored by 420 Blaze It and Doritos, and it's going to make a lot of money, and then we'll be all good. That's what we're going to do. You can... I had a stoner joke there, but I can't think of it right now.
The other topic that comes up with that is, what if you let everyone use PEDs and whoever's better is just better?
Oh jeez. Oh my god.
Like, you could be like a freaking juice head, but if you don't know how to shoot a ball or throw a ball or hit something with a racket or hit something with a golf club, you just suck. It doesn't matter how much steroids you take.
Oh.
Only the best will truly show why they're good.
Did you have you ever played? There's a game that was for the 360. It was called Blitz the League.
Yes.
Okay, so this game was like underground football, right? But one of the things you can do is that you can intentionally give your player steroids mid-game.
Oh, wow.
So what you just described is what's basically what's going to happen.
I don't know why you said that, and the game NFL Street comes to my mind. Anybody played that game?
Yeah,
that was like, you jump off the fence walls and catch a ball 30 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I love that game. That was fun.
But wouldn't that take out the legitimacy of sports?
Oh,
But
absolutely. But
it's
would
a
be
game,
fun to look at.
It's a game, so why can't you have some fun with it?
But then again, they had slam ball. They had the trampoline thing.
Oh my god!
Remember that? Dude, they had it was like regular basketball, but they had 4 trampolines and you could jump over.
I'm saying allowing performance enhancing drugs across the board is different than allowing trampolines on the court.
The only reason I say it's either nobody uses it, or if you let everybody use it, but then you have to become if you're gonna swing a baseball bat, you still have to be able to hit the ball, hit it at the right angle, and it just takes practice to get better with it over time. It doesn't matter how much steroids you use.
But it'll make things easier.
Also, I want to say I think there's a difference between steroids and HGH, because steroids is just to build muscle, whereas HGH...
Actually, you don't really build muscle with steroids. You gain a lot of water weight.
But the point of steroids is mainly to build muscle, whereas human growth hormone, you can inject it into your knee, and it can drastically increase a recovery time for a torn ligament or a bruised ligament. You can shoot it in your shoulders, because that's happened with my grandma, that she has a pretty messed up shoulder, and it can relieve a lot of pain and help recovery, not just to build muscle, but its recovery abilities are insane, and it's a shame that it's banned.
I feel like we should get a doctor on the podcast, someone that knows this intensively.
Endocrinologist would be a good person to talk to.
Yeah.
So if anyone's out there, let us know.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting, actually. This is in all seriousness, because we need answers.
What about Lance Armstrong? What did you think? Do you think he deserved to be dragged under the bus?
I think the only reason he was dragged under the bus is the same reason A-Rod was because he just kept lying and lying and lying, and people are just tell us the truth, and he's just I'm not lying, and then you find out, oh, he's lying, and people are we knew it. Now we're gonna burn you over it.
Well, the only Lance I know is Lance Storm, and he was from Canada. And he had a dancing gimmick, apparently. He had a rap gimmick. He would come out in shows and just start doing R&B and just started rap dances to make his gimmick better. So, fun fact.
If everyone could be quiet, I have something to say.
That's right. Canada is the greatest country of all time. I'm looking at you, Nadim. Oh, WCW 2000 for you. Everything circles around WCW 2000.
Okay, what's your biggest shock of the draft? What made you go, what?
Biggest shock?
Okay, it could be shock.
Maybe Nia Jax was a big one for me. I wasn't expecting that.
It could be shock. It could be people who weren't drafted that you thought would be drafted.
Okay. I didn't expect Heath Slater to go undrafted.
That was amazing, though.
Because you know what, though? Heath Slater has actually done stuff, even though he's really part of the job squad.
I didn't expect
social outcast.
I didn't expect Cesaro to go as late as he did, because he's pretty over with the fans.
Did you see the promo he did?
Yeah, that shoot promo was.
Have you seen it? He did a shoot promo basically saying, like, I don't know why I got drafted to Raw. I want to be drafted to SmackDown. Why did I get drafted so late in the game?
And then,
why am I with Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley? This is ridiculous.
He's like, I'm better than half the people here. I speak like 5 languages. Like, I'm better than almost everyone here. I don't know why I went late. They all suck.
He should have been WWE World Heavyweight Champion during the time when the title was named that, because he is a natural talent. He's over with the fans.
He is over. He is one of maybe 3 people that you could put him in the U.S., cheered. Put him in Canada, cheered. Take him to Japan, gets cheered. Put him in Europe, he's like maybe Daniel Bryan and Austin are like the only 2 others that come to mind that you could put him anywhere and people we like him. We don't know why. He's smart. He looks awesome. He comes out with that suit that just rips off. He's awesome. We like him. He's one of like 2, maybe 3 wrestlers that comes out and does that. That's insane. And I don't know why they don't use him. Right.
Instead, Vince wants to win the little kid fans over with John Cena and Roman Reigns, who have like 3 moves. There are 4 moves. They're kind of like the Pokemon from Pokemon Go. It's just
I'd agree with what Steven said in that I wasn't expecting Nia Jax to go. I thought Cesaro should have been drafted higher and maybe gone to SmackDown. I'm glad American Alpha's up there now.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to see American Alpha against Enzo and Cass against the New Day. Like, that would just be a great match for me. Bray Wyatt went to SmackDown, was it?
Yeah.
So they broke up the Wyatt family?
Yeah. They broke him
Unless
up.
they bring back Luke Harper and put him on SmackDown, so they'll have where did
Braun Strowman
Braun
go?
went to Raw, and then
So they broke up the Wyatt family.
And then Eric Rowan went to SmackDown, but he's doing a separate thing now. Like, I don't know if you've seen this promo. It's like all like. It's like, you've seen the movie Saw, right? It's kind of like that kind of vibe. Like, it's all kinds of like crazy, like off the wall stuff. And he's like has the mask and everything. And he's carrying a body bag. And then it's really trippy.
And then he goes up and he's like, "Want to play a game?"
Oh boy.
Who else?
I was surprised the Ascension got drafted.
They're still in
WWE. They're so bad.
They're still in WWE.
I feel bad for them. They deserve better, at least.
Well, didn't one of them get suspended for drug use along with Adam Rose? Was it Connor? I think it was Connor.
You got Connor and who else? There was another guy together. Adam Rose, but he was domestic abuse and then the drugs. Connor was drugs, and there was one more.
Yeah, I just don't remember the other one.
Jack Swagger?
I think maybe Swagger got arrested. He got charged before, but I don't think it was him this time.
It wasn't Jack Swagger.
Man, we talked a lot about drugs today, but
I think we have some pent up issues.
We're getting on time, but one last thing I'll say about the draft is that I don't know if you guys heard about what happened, but there was a backstage fight that happened for real between Sin Cara, everyone's favorite Sin Cara, and Simon Gotch of the Vaudevillains. Why? I have no idea. Apparently, they got in a fight in catering. We don't know the whole story.
Jesus.
And now Simon Gotch got in trouble for it, apparently. So. Sin Cara.
Speaking of Sin Cara, I'm surprised they broke up the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah. I'm not shocked, but only because I think they want to push Kalisto more.
Which I'm fine with.
And they're like, yeah, Sin Cara's cool, but we feel like there's more with Kalisto as opposed to Sin Cara. So
I think the thing with Sin Cara is that I like the person playing Sin Cara. I just wish he wasn't named Sin Cara because he has that stigma from the previous Sin Cara. With the the Sin Botch, right, and all the backstage stuff. So I think if he had a new mask, a new name, he would do way better for himself than he did with the current Sin Cara. But that's just my opinion. But I understand they make a lot of money with the mask like Mysterio did back in the day. But I think having a new mask would do well too. That's just my 2 cents on it. Because I like Sin Cara, like the current Sin Cara. I just don't like that he's Sin Cara. If that makes any sense.
So getting back to the draft though. There were rumors about many names possibly returning. We did not see many former household names like Kurt Angle or Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy come back. Yeah. So I was just really surprised at how so many names were thrown out there. Even Crime Time, JTG and Shad Gaspard. Even if those guys showed up, I would have at least felt like some sort of nostalgia from a previous SmackDown era and Raw era, where they were, featured on the show. Even if JTG and Shad were selling Royal Rumble numbers in some script up gimmick, at least that goes back.
I'm not shocked just because I take all rumors with a grain of salt, especially around the draft time when they said Kurt Angle's coming back, and then I think somebody interviewed him and he goes, we're in talks, but it's not looking good. And then it just kept going. I'm like, look, he said it's not looking good, so I got to go on with Kurt Angle on here. They said Carlito was coming back, and Carlito goes, no way I'm going back there.
I think you brought up the point earlier that they're trying to cater to a younger generation. And I guess they don't want to bring back old guys because the younger generation has nothing to relate to, So I think they're trying to go for a new face to WWE.
But the thing is, Jeff Hardy was really popular with kids because when he was in his prime in SmackDown,
and he was doing the face paint and
yeah. Even Rey Mysterio sold well with kids too, even though he had some problems that we're not going to really discuss. Bringing him back, can win over some more Latino younger fans because they'll be like,
and that's why I think they split up the Lucha Dragons, because they see maybe there's more potential out of Kalisto selling the mask and getting over with the fans and the kids, as opposed to Sin Cara. They need that, and especially somebody bringing the Hispanic audience. I think
the
that's
SmackDown of all places.
I think that's why they broke him up.
Well, the thing with Jeff Hardy, and I'm going to end off with, because we're getting on time, with Jeff Hardy, the reason why he got out was because he was a meth addict. He was doing drugs and he was failing the wellness policy.
So dark.
Drugs. Everything's circling back to drugs today for some reason. But that's why he had to leave him with the TNA and everything, unfortunately. With Mysterio, there's all kinds of things, but mainly he wanted to leave, which is fine.
He killed a man. No, I'm kidding.
Well, okay, let's not bring that. That's not funny.
That's not a funny topic.
Bad Mike. Let's not bring that up.
Don't discuss that.
Okay, let's just say it there. I know, anybody that steps in the ring knows that you are putting your life every single day, and accidents do happen. Let's be 100% legitimate and be serious about it.
In all sports.
All sports, but especially wrestling. And both of us, we know especially well. I remember the first time I went training, a guy broke his arm in 3 places.
Yikes.
For just running the ropes, too.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? So, it happens.
I remember.
So let's be real about that.
I remember doing wrestling and just falling on my back. And I'm like, oh, how hard could it be? The mat's a little cushion. I remember hitting that mat and just having the wind knocked out of me. And I'm like, just trying to gasp for air. And they're like, yeah, this isn't a game. If you really want to do this, you're going to stick around. If not, then leave. And I stuck around, and I enjoyed it. But man, it is a tough. It takes a toll on you.
Let me tell you, that's the ring. It hurts. It's painful. And when it feels like it.
It does. It is not.
When I did training, when I first took bumps, I felt like I was in shock every time I took the bump, and I had just spasms of pain throughout my body.
The bruises that you get on your body after are just some gnarly bruises.
I have a question for all of you.
All right, last question because we're on time. Let's shoot it.
Wrestling on a giant trampoline.
When we were kids?
No.
Or just
now?
as
a gimmick.
Like a backyard wrestling federation.
I believe was it
the Hardys.
The Hardys did it.
Were most famous for
I think
that.
Seth Rollins did it. It was either Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose. It might have been Dean Ambrose. No, it was Seth Rollins. That they would just do these weird backyard wrestling shows, and they would just do their high moves off trampolines, and it's dangerous, I used to do it with my brother. And I remember one time I jumped off the trampoline, jumped high enough to go on my roof, and I did a senton bomb back on my brother on the trampoline. And we just both bounced 5 feet off the trampoline. And I remember my dad coming on, he's like, what the bleep are you doing? And we're like, we're just play wrestling. And he's like, you're gonna kill yourself, don't do it.
Oh my.
Do not try any of these moves at home.
Yeah, when they say don't try it at home, please.
Don't
try it at home.
No, don't. But most famously, Hardy's, Mick Foley, Seth Rollins,
Mick Foley was the mattress, right?
Was the mattress, yeah, off
That's
the roof.
Insane.
CM Punk was big too. All of them. But to answer your question, yes, you can get famous if you're a backyard star. But at least to their credit, with all of them, they eventually got formal training and actually made it a committed business. Right. The people that are just doing backyard wrestling for fun or whatever and killing themselves, that's not the way to go.
Especially if you're doing it in front of 10 people and you just cut yourself
open.
And when you are bleeding profusely, and then you got to go you are paying for what? You're paying your own injuries. You have to go to the hospital for what? It's not worth it.
Where do you get the money for? You're doing what? Barbed wire bats and light bulbs and fire and jumping off the roof and stuff.
That's not wrestling. That's masochism right there.
Yeah, you're killing yourself. All right. Well, what a conversation we've had today. We went from drugs to WCW to the draft to sports to drugs again to Jeff Hardy with meth to drugs. It's just like it's a lot of stuff today. And we went to backyard wrestling. So what a podcast it's been. What an off-topic podcast we've had today. But before we end off, I just want to say thank you, Mark, for being a part of the podcast. You're always welcome. Yeah, you know, after you're settled down, you get things moving, you're always welcome to come back for future episodes. Is there anything you want to say?
I'm taking my talents to DC.
Oh.
Get out of here.
At least if someone's going to DC. Kevin Durant didn't.
Oh. Jeez. We are a wrestling podcast, not a basketball podcast. You know, it's not like we went to Chicago or whatever. Okay, whoever mind. All right, well, this has been the Wrestling is Wrestling podcast. We'll be back very soon for another episode. We'll be back for the simulations, and we'll be back for the final deletion. Delete. This thing's amazing. I gotta show you this thing. But with that, this has been Raph. This has been your host. With my colleagues Mike, Mark, and Nadim. Bye. See you later. See you later, and we'll be back very soon. Cool. Good stuff, guys. Awesome.